Well, Universal Studios again wanted to make another sequel, but by this point, Deborah Hill wanted to do something else. They wanted to open it up as an anthology series, somewhat like the Twilight Zone TV series, a different scary story. So on Halloween 3, it was going to be like following Halloween 3 was also they were all supposed to be different scary stories set on Halloween.
I have to do it. Happy Halloween.
Yes, and we got no Michael Myers in this movie.
Well, we see him and like there's a background.
Well, they do a shot of him on the TV screen, so it just was a letdown because people did not know what to expect, and Michael Myers never makes a screen appearance. It's about some crazy man that wants to crazy psycho business owner man that wants to for some reason wants to kill all the kids on Halloween. He has no motive, but it's just kind of dumb. By planting like chips inside of these masks, and if they watch it on this TV, their heads start to grow snakes and bugs and various other creatures. So it wasn't good at all. I remember my mom telling me she saw the original Halloween in a drive-in in '78, and then when Halloween 1 was '78, Halloween 2 was '81. She said she went and saw that in theaters and she said it was fairly decent. But she said she went to go see Halloween 3 thinking that there would be an actual Michael Myers in the movie, but everyone was like, where is he?
Oh, there he is.
And apparently there were some not riots, but like people started throwing stuff at the screen. Like it was a mess. Like it was not a good movie.
They really threw stuff at the screen.
They got mad. He wasn't there. It was like such a popular series so far. Like this one came out in '82, so everyone was really mad. There was no Michael Myers. It should have been called just Season of the Witch without the Halloween 3 in front of it. It did really bad and didn't make any money.
It's better than the Nicolas Cage Season of the Witch.
Yeah, at least that. But so from there, those were the only two directed by Universal. So it kind of was okay. So it kind of took a couple years hiatus, like Halloween. So now John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were no longer involved in the series because they produced actually number 3. So they wanted to make a Halloween 4, but that wasn't their idea. It was Mustafa Akkad.
Yeah, he wanted to keep it all going.
He wanted to keep it going, so he sought out to make a Halloween 4. Well, by this point, Jamie Lee Curtis had been a big star, so it necessitated one change. She wasn't going to come back for a low-budget horror movie again, or a cheap horror movie. Well, so they hired a girl named Danielle Harris who plays Laurie Strode's daughter, Jamie Lloyd, which kind of bugs me because I think if Laurie's going to go through hell on Halloween 1 and 2, and then they say in Halloween 4 she died in a car crash, like that's just like a really bad way for her to go.
And it's kind of a disappointing letdown to the character in general.
Right, like she fights off her now insane brother, and now she just dies in a car crash.
Yeah, it's just a cheap way to explain away why she wasn't there, but
yeah, so Mustafa wanted to bring back almost the bloodless style of the original and go back to the basics. I mean, for some reason it's popular, actually more popular than Halloween 2. I don't know why.
Neither do I.
I don't like it. I think it's worse than Halloween 2. Just as bad as any of the others. It was actually made a lot of money. It made a lot of money.
Well, they saw Michael on the poster, so they had to come back.
It was in 1988, this one. It made a lot of money. So, I mean, it almost, revived the series again. People were like, cool, he's back. Donald Pleasance returned. Everyone was happy. I mean, and then at the end of the movie, Michael Myers, it appears as if he has died. And Jamie Lloyd had touched his hand before he had died. And at the end of Halloween 4, Jamie Lloyd is wearing the mask and has killed her foster mother.
I sort of liked the ending.
The ending was good, but it was kind of cool. Now where do you go with that?
They're gonna have a spin-off with Jamie as the killer.
They actually, that's what Danielle Harris had thought, but that she takes over or as a sidekick or something. So
the dynamic duo.
Edited poorly. It just does not look well. And also, what made me mad was the Myers house is now a grand mansion. So it kind of was like small little western house to grand mansion.
Continuity? What's that?
So they kind of just said, screw it all, let's just say that this, I don't know, it pissed off a lot of people. It pissed off, Halloween 5, and didn't make didn't even make that much money. It was actually fighting an X rating because it was so graphic. So, the story, and then the mask started getting really poorly made, just started looking worse and worse.
Terrible.
Well, actually, after 4 was not looking
Yeah, I
that good.
hated the fourth one the most.
Fifth one looks, I hate the fifth one, it looks really bad. So it did poor, and out of the US, it went straight to video rather than appearing in theaters.
Wow. Yeah.
So it kind of, in '89, that's kind of like when Michael took a break for a little while, and they wanted to make another movie.
Oh god, I hate this one the
Well,
most.
it took like a 6-year break, and like a lot of people, like there were rumors that like John Carpenter was going to come back and direct number 6 with Jamie Lee Curtis, and Michael, and they were all going to go into space, and then they were like, there was another
I did not hear that.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino actually made his original script for Halloween 6. He was thought to direct for a little while, but then no. So then what happened was the Halloween series was brought up for auction, so Miramax purchased it. And that's when Halloween kind of became more of a higher end studio film rather than like more independent, like, well, Universal earlier, but like 4 and 5 and 1 were all like more of the under the independent like wing. So now it was like a big studio release like through Miramax. So number 6 came out, and well, actually number 6, it was actually written by Halloween fan Daniel Farrens. And so in this movie wants to do what other movies hadn't done and explain why Michael Myers wanted to kill all of his family members.
I have a rule in horror films which I used to enjoy. You don't need to explain your killer. You don't need to explain why he's killing. You don't need to explain why he's coming back. They did it with Freddy. They did it with Jason. And you know what? Those films were bad. All of them. Jason Goes to Hell. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. They explained everything and it failed. This one.
Well, it was actually, it was weird. It was what Donald Pleasance had done. This was actually his last movie. He died actually weeks after production ended. And Daniel Farrens, they all had a movie that they felt was good. They liked it, but since it was a studio release, it was required to have a test screening. So they had test screenings for the movie. Primarily, I think they said 14-year-old boys, and they said, oh, primarily like what the kids were saying, the ending sucked. So they rushed it back into production without Daniel Farrens' creative help, without Donald Pleasance was dead. So they kind of redid it. Like they actually filmed 43 minutes of alternate footage. Like that's actually like half the movie.
Wow.
So they apparently fixed it up, and
Good job, kids.
and they went and they put it in theaters. And it did not do well. It actually did almost as bad as number 5. And it made a lot of people mad. They were like, okay, this is really dumb. It tried to explain how Michael was some curse of the thorn.
I hated the Curse of the Thorn.
It
They had the doctor from the first movie.
Who was
we saw
Dr.
briefly.
Wynn, who you see briefly. It just wasn't good. It was poorly made.
And they said that the person, like, there was someone babysitting Michael, or there was...
Yeah, Michael had been babysat across the street, and he like left the house to go kill Judith. Oh, and the Myers house again changes.
Again?
Yeah, this time it's a house with some sort of a balcony of some sort. It looks closer to the original, but still not.